Hopefully we're live. Oh, I think I had this issue last time where I'm like, can I get rid of the chat on this screen? I don't think I can because I've got it on my laptop. Hi. Hopefully I'm looking in the right place. I've got my phone kind of flipped. And I'm streaming on my phone and I've got my laptop in front of me because that's where we're gonna be making this character. Cool. Okay, so a few people are asking about the game system that we're talking about, which I had asked if anyone had questions. Okay, so I'll try and give you like the Cliff Notes introduction to Stillfleet for folks, or I guess to tabletop and Stillfleet for folks who aren't familiar. But first of all, hi, hello. Feel free to hang out in the chat. Feel free to tell us what you're drinking. That's always the thing that I like to hear. Yeah, stream is live. And yeah, we're just going to be chilling out and making a character for a game that I'm playing on Sunday, which is really exciting. And I've got a raccoon-person in mind, which I'm very excited about. So super quick introduction for those who aren't familiar. Tabletop RPGs, aka tabletop role-playing games, aka D&D, Dungeons and Dragons is the big one that everyone knows, but it's not the only one. So if you aren't familiar, there are other game systems with different settings and different rules in that same genre of tabletop role-playing games, right? A storytelling role-playing game that you play around a table, whether physical or virtual, with some chums. So what I am playing on Sunday, and this game is going to be streamed on the official Stillfleet Twitch. So if you want to come and watch me play this game once you've seen me create this character, then you can come and see. You will find that on the Stillfleet Twitch. You should probably just go and enable notifications for that. But yes, so Stillfleet is another game, another system like Dungeons and Dragons that is a tabletop RPG. What is Stillfleet? What isn't Stillfleet? So I've been playing Stillfleet for a few years. I've been a patron of theirs on Patreon for a few years, and I really love it. It's a really wacky, far future sci-fi game. So basically it's like 1,000,000 years in the future, which was a design choice from Wyeth so that there are no kind of remnants of our current like countries or Earth or empires. Like it's a completely new galaxy, I guess. And generally the setup is that you are a void miner. So you're basically a worker for this company called the Worshipful Co., which sends void miners of the void out into space to explore derelict spaceships or planets and stuff, and find cool tech that might be valuable to bring it back. That's the basic setup for Stillfleet. This game that we're playing is for a kind of offshoot branch of that called Kadida. And Kadida is like it's like a bonus like setting, like source book for Stillfleet. There's going to be a Kickstarter for it soon, I believe. Basically this adds like another setting and some more rules and mechanics and stuff. Like it's like a bonus module, like an add-on to Stillfleet. And the whole concept with Kadida is Berlin Wall, Cold War, why did I say that so strange? Cold War kind of spy stuff in space. So our characters are going to be playing basically spies in this like futuristic city, this like domed city on this alien planet that is like split in two between these two different political factions or political states. So the really cool thing about this game is that there's going to be two teams. So instead of just having one party that's adventuring together, we have two parties of three. I'm in the Worshipful Kadida side, and the other team is on the free Kadida side, and we're going to be playing one session and then they're going to be playing the next, and the things that we do are going to like affect each other session to session, which is a wild concept. So we're kind of playing like teams like against each other in an RPG, which is very exciting. So I don't even know who the other team is. I don't know anyone that's on that team. I have like chatted a little bit to my two fellow party members, and they have kind of nailed down most of their character stuff already. I still need to build mine, and so that's what I'm going to do today. Does that all make sense so far? Am I explaining that like in any kind of articulate way? Let me know if you've got any more questions, and I will catch up on the chat now. Yes, raccoon. Yeah, so you can actually play a human in Stillfleet. There are still humans. It's just that there's so many cool like alien species and things that you can do. I feel like nobody really plays humans. We're playing online because it's gonna be streamed on Twitch. So the first session is tomorrow, and that's gonna be the other team. So the free Kadida team, the one that I'm not on, they're playing tomorrow. And then my team is playing our first session on Sunday. So we'll see. Okay, right, let me catch up on the chat, make sure that I am catching everything. Yes. Yeah, if you're wanting to follow along with any of this, or if you're like, this Stillfleet sounds cool, go check out the website. It's just stillfleet.com. There's a quick start. Is the quick start still free? I think it might be. There might be a free quick start. If not, it's pretty cheap on like DriveThruRPG or whatever. And there's like a cool, like, there's like an automated character generator and stuff that I've used before. Yeah, so there's tons of stuff to explore. It's a really fun game, and I highly recommend it. Yeah, so there's a species called Fex. I think it's Fexelage. I'm gonna have to look that up. Fexelage or something. And they're basically like raccoon people, and I'm pretty sure that's what I want to play. So for reference, I've played 3 different Stillfleet characters. Yes, 3. So one of my first campaign, which was actually a pre-generated character, which I just kind of put my own spin on. Rala, who's a Gelasti, like a salamander person. She was an engineer who just wants to party. And that was probably my most enjoyable character that I've played thus far. And I also did a one-shot where I literally just randomly generated a character using their random generator. And he ended up being a peer, which is kind of like a doctor or therapist class, who had like a pet kind of pterodactyl robot thing. And so, he was called Dr. Boots, and because it was completely improvised on the spot, and I ended up going for a kind of like Steve Irwin but in space kind of thing. That was a lot of fun. And then my current character that I'm playing in my current campaign offline, well, it's virtual, but we're not streaming it. I'm playing like a big stoic AI piloting an empty exosuit body. But I've played a few of these like big stoic characters now, and I feel like it's just not quite my wheelhouse. I think I do my best work as a player when I get to play a Chaos Goblin. Which Rala, as like the small salamander who likes to party, was definitely that. I've also played a Pathfinder game where I was like a pyromaniac goblin jester, which is also a character I'd love to play again, who got basically exiled for setting a kid on fire at a birthday party or something. So I'm looking to kind of channel some of that energy with this. Yeah, Space Steve Irwin. Spurwin. Yes, it is a bold choice PvP. We'll see how that goes. Yes, and there's an actual play podcast as well of Stillfleet called Float City, where they did a whole campaign using the Stillfleet system and in the Stillfleet world, which is how I got introduced to it. So if you want to hear other people play Stillfleet, probably much more adeptly than I will, then go check that out as well. Also, hi Pete, I didn't know you were here. cool. Ian's here as well, who wrote Kadida. That's amazing. Oh, you guys. Showing up. Okay, yes, I know, I'm on the capitalist team. I am the empire, it seems. So that's my main kind of thing that I'm gonna try and figure out, like how do I create a character that I still enjoy playing, who's basically a bad guy. Because that's not something that I've had really much experience with. The closest I've come to that is like my robot character, Aita, is kind of like amoral, just in the sense that as a robot, she doesn't understand morality, and so will just adopt the ethics of whatever group she's in. But that's still, well, I don't know, maybe that could work. We'll see. Yes. So, oh, thank you so much. Onander said, played Kadida already. Your description is as coherent as it could be. Good. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, right. So it's going to be an interesting mix of me trying to like have all of the materials that I need in front of me at a time, because I've got a printout of the Wayfarers module, which is the chapter on character creation, like the guide of steps to go through to create a character. I have that printed out, but I left it at Pete's house. So I don't have that. I'll just be using my iPad and my laptop. So let's start by getting that open. Wayfarers. I'm also going to need the cherub info open as well. I'll go find that on... That's going to be on the Kadida chapter that I downloaded, which I should be able to find. You would think that I would have done this before, but alas. Okay. Oh no, I read it on my iPad, so it's going to be on there. Let's see. Oh no, did I just open it in my... Right, okay. I'm just going to get on Discord. Fuck it. Okay. Yeah, so I want to play effects, which, like I say, is like a raccoon-person type alien. And there are new classes for... there's like four new classes that are part of the Kadida kind of like expansion. And one of those, and they're all kind of like spy, sort of espionage themed. And one of them is called a cherub, and that's what I think I want to go with. And basically they're like a saboteur / demolitions expert. And so I was like, I want to be a raccoon that blows things up. That feels like it speaks to my soul. And I think like plays to my strengths as a player, because like I'm gonna do my best to be a spy, but I'm really not good at lying in games. I think there's like something that happens in my brain where I'm like, I'm already role playing. This is already a fake scenario. I'm already lying in a sense. And so it's like, I can't take that next step. So it's going to be interesting trying to role play a spy. But I think like being the one that like blows open doors and stuff is going to be a good fit. So... sorry, I'm still just trying to open this. Here it is, okay. I do just want to burn stuff. I mean, that's just me in real life. Okay, great, I've got it open. Now, let's hop over to the cherub stuff. Cool. Yeah, so for cherub, which is my class, it's a saboteur and demolitionist. Banshees, so those are, that's the class of like engineers and like wormhole openers. Banshees are good at fixing and operating things, but what if you want to break things or make them work in odd ways? You disrupt the smooth functioning of systems, especially technological systems. You also create small devices useful for destroying walls, doors, or even buildings. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to hop back to Wayfarers, and we're just going to follow this step by step. So the first step is choose your class. That's what I have done. So we're going to go through the options for that first. I'm just going to copy this directly onto my page. I'm just copying this stuff into a page on Notion, but once I've made all my decisions and chosen all my powers and stuff, I will probably write this up and print it off on paper, because I much prefer doing stuff off of paper. Yeah, basically Rocket from Guardians, but I'll put my own twist on it even. I also just love, I mean, who doesn't love raccoons? But like, I love raccoons. And so it just seems like a match made in heaven. Yeah, who isn't? Okay. Right, okay, so my responsibilities are destroy technology or infrastructure that prevents the completion of a contract, breach barriers, destroy technology or infrastructure that supports the rivals or enemies of your faction, which in my case is the Worshipful Company. And my marquee power is sabotage, which basically means I can take any device that is currently working and make it fail or function in a way that wasn't intended. And then there's a bunch of rules about how much grit to burn and stuff for that. But basically, fuck tech up is my marquee power. So now it's time to choose 2 from this list. So acrobatic is a boost to movement checks. Improvise explosive means you can always find something that goes boom. Go in with a bang is that you start off with a few timed explosive charges that you can use to blow up things. Which I don't know. I mean, if that one just means you automatically have them and you don't need to roll for improvising them, then maybe that's better. And then set trap, which sounds really fun. It can be useful to make a device to watch your back, burn 2 grit, sacrifice 1 melee or ranged weapon, and describe how the trap is sprung, tripwire, pressure, etc. So you can basically improvise a trap, which sounds good. So I need to choose 2 of those. I'm kind of leaning towards acrobatic just because I like to be able to flip around and do stuff. I feel like regardless of what my strengths are as a character, I'm always going to want to like jump off top of things or launch myself into things. So yeah, so I think I might go for acrobatic. What do you guys think? So acrobatic, improvise explosive, go in with a bang, set trap. I get 2 of those. Hello, Jesse. Yes, this is for an RPG called Stillfleet. That's the game system and setting that I'm going to be playing on Sunday live. Thank you to the Stillfleet peeps who are explaining rule stuff in the chat. You guys are the real heroes. Yes, so do I. I also think an acrobatic explosive expert has amazing potential for physical comedy. And that's my shit. Okay, so I've got sabotage. I think I've got to take one of the explosives. Right, let's see what the other list is, right? So I need to choose 2 from that list, and then I get to choose 1 from this other list. Ascender, which is basically being like on a Mission Impossible rope. Tight spaces, which means that you can fit into tight spaces. And then there's like a betting thing, 20 C's short it, which I think is very funny because I'm pretty sure that's a reference to Ocean's 11. So I definitely need explosives. So I think I'm not going to go for both. I'm going to decide between improvise explosive or go in with a bang. So improvise explosive takes 10 minutes. And it means your knowledge of common components and chemicals means you can always find something that goes boom. Burn grit, roll reason. And then how well you roll determines like how stable the explosion is. So if you roll badly, you explode things, but also potentially yourself. If you roll well, then you create a bunch that inflicts d20 damage. That's a lot. Okay, let's compare that to go in with a bang. So with go in with a bang, you start off with d4 timed explosive charges. You can use to blow open walls or doors or knock down a column. Okay. I am leaning towards go in with a bang because that means you just start off, you've got them, you're carrying them anyway, and it's quicker to use them. Yeah, that's what I'm leaning towards. I loved that reference. It makes me very tempted to take that power, even though I don't know that I would necessarily use it. We're about to get into the effect species powers in a second because species is the next thing on my list, but it says to do class first. Yeah, okay. Yeah, tight spaces also seems great for a raccoon. Okay, I think I'm gonna go in with a bang, and yeah, definitely go in with a bang. So let me copy that over onto my sheet. And then, do I want acrobatic and tight spaces? Is that like too much? Also, fecks are apparently like 1.2 meters tall, and I have no idea how much that is in feet, so I have no idea what size I am. That's like, is that like 3-4 feet? Does anyone want to do the maths for me? This is a benefit of live streaming things, is just being like, hey, can you guys do that thing that I would have to do myself otherwise? That's true. Improvising is just more chaos, which I do enjoy. 3 something. Okay, cool. But I don't know that I'm necessarily going to take tight spaces. We can always mix these up. Right, I'm going to take acrobatic for now, and I might change my mind. Because we're doing, so this is just for level 1, and we are to level up to level 3. So I'm going to get even more powers after this as well. Yeah, okay, so we've got go in with a bang and acrobatic. So that's my 2 from the first list, and then I get to choose 1 from this list of 3. Ascender, you come equipped with basic climbing gear, harnesses, belay, devices, rope. You can use this gear to scale up to 25 meters. So basically you can climb up to 25 meters without any move checks. But I already have advantage on, no, I've got +2 on move checks now from acrobatic. I do like the idea of belaying down into something, but I don't know if that's going to be necessary for this mission. Then tight spaces is you have the ability to flex, bend, and squish your mass into spaces that push the limits of most sapiens. You can't actually rearrange your body or turn into a liquid, but you can wiggle your way through vents, windows, or other tiny spaces. Again, something about that speaking to my soul. And then third is 20 says they short it, which is the Ocean's 11 reference. So before doing specific types of checks, other players who witness your action can bet up to 3 grit on your success, and then you earn 1/2 of the total grit bet. So okay, let me see that I'm understanding this correctly. So I might ask Ian this actually. Round it down. So I earn 1/2 of that, whatever they bet, no matter what happens, like if I succeed or not. And players who guess correctly gain that much grit. Players who guess incorrectly lose that much. at least one player must bet on a success and at least one player must bet against. Okay, but do I get the grit regardless? Is that too encouraging? Hello! 5 feet equals 1.5 meters. Okay, yeah, I should just Google this, but how much is 1.2 meters in feet? There we go. 3.9, so about 4 feet tall. Perfect. 20 cc short, it seems like a really fun power, and I really love those like kind of like meta game fun powers. Like there's a power in Stillfleet that I used to have when I was Rala, where what's it called? Basically, if I made a joke in character that made other players laugh, I would get grit, which I used to power my abilities. And that was like probably my favorite power in a game ever, because it meant that it was like tactically advantageous for me to spend like other people's turns thinking of a joke that I could say, because that joke would allow me to pull off some ridiculous stunt in my next turn. So I feel like this has like a similar energy and I enjoy that. So I'm tempted. But then I'm tempted by all of these. Ascender, tight spaces, 20 cc short it. What do you guys think? Sweater says, I'm so into tight spaces, squishy raccoon energy big time. Yeah, I also enjoy that. I also know that we have on our team, we've got a blooder, which is like a nanite sorcerer vampire kind of thing. Are we all multi-classes? Is Kelly still here? No, I'm not a multi-class, but I think my fellow team players are. We've got a Jackal Scrubber, which is violence and social kind of powers. And then the Blooder is definitely going to be good for fighting. So yeah, it might be helpful for me to be good with movement and getting into tight spaces and stuff. Yeah, Kelly did multi-class. Okay. Right, okay, I just need to decide. Right, okay, Leo went just full blooder. full blooder. Cool. Yeah, so I don't think there's... Oh no, wait, well, Jackal... Is Jackal also good with like sneak and movement? Right, okay. Ascender, tight spaces, 20 says they short it. And I've already got Sabotage, Go In With a Bang, Acrobatic. Yeah, Jackals are sneaky and roguey. Okay. I can't stop thinking about tight spaces, so I think that's going to be it for now. Like I say, depending on what other powers I get for leveling up, I might change that, but that's the one that I keep coming back to. So we're going to do tight spaces. Okay, and then my grit is my max reason plus max will, of which those scores I don't have yet, but that's fine. I'll come to that in a second. Okay. Okay, so that's my class. Now I'm going to look at my species and the abilities and stuff for Fex, which is definitely on my laptop. So let me go find that. So I think that's in the core rule book. Okay, let's search Fex. There we go. Okay, Fexilage, I think that's how you pronounce it, raccoon-person of Cakadoon. Cakadoon, coincidentally, is one of the planets, locations that they visit in the Float City campaign. Oh wow, my feet are totally numb. Okay, so the 1.2 meter tall raccoon-like sapes, commonly called Fex, are known to be inquisitive, intelligent, and energetic. Until contact with humans, they used only wooden tools. Today, they typically pride themselves on retrofitting human and weighted gear for their small bodies. None have gone through from Cakadoon to Spindle yet, having immediately correctly perceived the Co to be a venal, destructive institution. But given the natural curiosity of all sapes, it's only a matter of time. So we have some species powers. Aggro/dense, I get a permanent bonus to my combat or will. Defensive instincts. Nice, in woodlands and wetlands, I gain advantage on all move, run, and sneak checks. That's cool. Not that there, from what I've read, are going to be very many woodlands and wetlands in Kadida, because it's like a domed city with not very many plants, but the separation between the two sides, I've just literally read the Kadida like draft rules stuff today in preparation for this, so the space which divides the two sides of the city is called the span, and it's basically like a demilitarized zone, right? Or like a no man's land, and it, I think, is overgrown with at least like fungal stuff, if not other plants and stuff. So I don't know if that would count as woodland. I could maybe get that advantage, but perhaps. Okay. The species power, fun-sized. Full grown, you are the size of a human child. You permanently lose D6 health at character creation. And your minimum starting health is 2. Okay, so I am small and fragile. Fine. And then sharp, grimy claws. You can make 2 natural attacks per round for D6 each. If you are trained in martial arts, and you inflict decom damage instead. Okay. Oh, that's a standard action. I was like, as well as my standard action? But no, that takes an action. But it's just like a unarmed combat thing. Okay, so those are my species powers. Let's copy those across. And then I get to choose 3 from the following list as well. Big booms and tiny vents, yeah. Cool. Okay. Right, so next I get to choose 3 from this list. I wonder if I can paste this in the chat and if you guys can see it properly. Let's try that now. It's probably going to be too much text, isn't it? Yes, 1,000 words. Oh wow, wow, so cursed. Oh my god, none of the spaces pasted over. Sorry guys, okay, that's not gonna work. I'll just tell you. Oh, so cursed. Okay, right, so I get to choose 3 from these, so you guys can help me decide. Bestial empathy. You can hold very basic conversations with vertebrates in 3 space. So bugs, plants, fungi, and automata don't respond to you. Vertebrates, right, okay. So speak with animals, kind of. Killer instinct, you gain a +2 bonus to a type of roll that you choose to hit or determine damage. So that's like a bonus. Oh, choose one as in, right, so rolls to hit or determined damage. I think would both be combat. I get a +2 to that. Non-vascular vegetable empathy. You can hold very basic conversations with moss and other non-vascular plants. Don't know what non-vascular means, but cool. Perform the marsh medicine. Okay, this sounds up my street. Perform the marsh medicine, 10 minutes. You can perform a simple dance-based healing art. Burn 8 grit and dance for 10 minutes over a wounded person, and they gain D-Will health. So I can dance to heal people. That sounds good. 10 minutes is probably not going to do anything in battle, but afterwards. And then release your rabid rage. Once per level per day, I can burn some grit, and for the next 4 rounds, all my combat rolls are with advantage, and my moves are with disadvantage. Okay, so that's like rage mode, or like a frenzy. Sharpen scratchers. Your natural attacks gain bleed 1. Track/pet. Oh, that's the Razzie power of like being able to track people, basically. Woodpunk aptitude. You gain a +4 bonus to checks related to clank stratum tech. Okay, so I get to choose 3 of those. Thank you. Non-vascular means no circulatory system / no blood. Trash dance of healing. Yeah, that's too good to not do. I think, especially since we don't have a healer. Although I think, oh wow, that pasted so weird. I'm gonna have to fix that later. I think Kelly took some healing stuff. But we're a team of 3 and we don't have like a peer. So yeah, that might be good. So I get to choose 3. So perform the marsh medicine sounds good. That might be my 1. And then once per level per day for rabid rage. For the next 4 rounds, that's pretty good. And then I've already got +2 to my movement, so that would actually mitigate the disadvantage of that. Marsh medicine, maybe rabid rage. I don't know. Track actually might be helpful because like this is like a spy kind of campaign, so like tracking people down and following people, it seems like is going to be a decent part of that. And I don't know that either of my teammates have anything similar. Oh, Leo does have some tracky stuff. Okay. +4 to tech checks or something. What was the last one? The last one was Woodpunk aptitude, which I think is referring to the fact that until contact with humans, Vex only used wooden tools. So basically low tech things, I get a bonus to checks around that. Clank stratum tech, basically there's different hierarchies of tech in Stillfleet that determines like how complex things are to use. No designated healers, we die in the streets. Yeah, the Gelasti healing spit is good. I've definitely used that before. True. Okay, right, let's look at track again. That's the Razzie power. Which I don't have the description for, so let me just look that up. I'm searching for Razzie, please allow. Show me. I'll just scroll there. Screw it. Track is you work to either follow the trail of a single entity or locate any single entity of interest, sans clues. And then you burn some grit depending on how difficult the target is. And in theory, you can track down anything within reason planet side. That seems probably quite helpful. So maybe. So that would be perform the marsh medicine, track / pet. And then I would need one more. So let's hop over and paste that in. This game does sound very insane from the outside. Okay, so we're going to take track, we're going to take perform the marsh medicine, and then I get to choose one more. God, this is so many powers and abilities. Right, do I want to talk to vertebrates? Do I want to talk to plants? Do I want to be a better killer? Or have like a blood frenzy? I think if this was a different type of campaign, I'd probably take one of the like plant or animal chats, because like who doesn't love to talk to a plant or animal? But I think based on the setting, that's probably not going to come up. So I think I'm between Killer Instinct, which is a +2 bonus to either a roll to hit. Oh, that's a +2 bonus to all rolls to hit or all damage rolls. If that's correct, that's bonkers. So that's pretty significant actually. And then the other one is the release your rabid rage, where you can go into a frenzy and for 4 rounds you have an advantage on combat and disadvantage on movement. I'm leaning towards Killer Instinct, I think. Okay, let's do it. Let's go Killer Instinct. So thus far, so my species powers are aggro / dense, defensive instincts, fun-sized, I think that might be my favorite so far, sharp grimy claws, track, perform the marsh medicine, and Killer Instinct. Cool, and then languages, you speak the language of your people, typically described by Kakadunais. Kakadunais, I'm going to just say that. Humans as Greebling. You also speak Jash and some Spin with a heavy Nolastra accent, which I don't know what that means, but that's fine. Cool. Okay, so that's my class and my species. Let me hop back to Wayfarers. iPad, don't fail me now. So what's up next? My scores. So this is where I determine the numbers, the dice that I use to roll for different abilities. So in Stillfleet, there are... Why didn't I just have my other character sheet out for this? That would have made way more sense. The scores are combat, movement, reason, will, and charm. And this is a little bit different to D20 kind of base systems like D&D, because instead of like rolling a D20 and then like adding however much you have for strength or whatever to it, you just have a different dice for each of these. So for combat, it might be a D12. For movement, it might be a D6. I was going to say a D5. That's not a thing. You know what I mean? So I get to decide how I'm going to distribute these. So let's have a quick look and just see what my main kind of roles are going to be. Obviously, I've chosen movement-based things, so movements should probably be fairly high. Sabotage is... Do I need to roll for sabotage? Or do I just burn grit? Name and effect. It seems like I don't need to roll for sabotage. Okay. And going with a bang is a reason check. Acrobatic is movement, tight spaces. There isn't a roll associated with that. Combat. Track. What is track? What do you roll for track? Marsh medicine you don't need to roll for. Okay, so far it's looking like movement and reason should probably be my highest. Let's just check track. If I can find it. Yeah, track is burn, grit, and reason. Okay, so reason and movement, I think, are going to be my top ones. So oh, true. Thank you, Aaron. Who says, if you look at your class, it should say how you calculate grit, and that's usually a good indicator of the scores you'll want to favour. Yes, I copied that down. Reason and will. Okay. So, scores. So we've got combat, reason, will, charm, movement. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna maybe make reason my top one. Yeah, let's try this and then I'll maybe move them around if I have to. So let's say reason is a D12, and then my next one, will or movement. Let's say will is a D10, and then my movement could be the D8, and then combat and charm would be both D6s. D6 for combat's not great, but you can't have everything, is the thing. Is that every time I pick scores, I'm like, but I'd like to be good at everything, please. How dare you? Oh, and says you can make reason your top one, but you could also push the big himbo button. Okay, I did that though with Aita. And also, I'm fun size, so I'm the size of a child, and I start with minimum health. So I feel like that might not be the best. I feel like the tight spaces actually might be good as an escape thing. D4 movement, wow. The tiniest big himbo. Oh, could what be my oddment, Aaron? Yeah, I haven't actually fully decided on gender yet. I pretty much default to playing female characters. I think Dr. Boots is maybe the only one. And that might do more to differentiate it from just straight up being Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so at the moment I've got D12 reason. What are these checks used for again? Hold on. This is my ITA sheet. So, reason is good for heal, know, make/repair, use tech, and use weird powers. Making and repairing and breaking things is probably all reason. There's always reason and will that I get mixed up. Will is empathize, perceive, resist. Will is good for perception checks. Okay. Yeah. See, now I'm thinking if I should move my D8 to combat and then the D6 to movement. Because I've got a +2 to movement anyway. Oh, for people who don't know also, like the standard success threshold you're trying to meet with Stillfleet rolls is 6, I believe. If something's more difficult, then it might be higher than that, but generally you're trying to beat 6. So if you have a D6 for something, then it's obviously pretty tough to make that very frequently. Oh, big himbo button as an oddment. Oh yeah, guys, I need to, okay, focus, Rachel, focus. Right, scores. I guess I'm not sure what I'm using will for, even though that's the one that's recommended. In this character, but I don't know, or maybe that's for like other powers that I haven't taken, but I don't really feel like many of my powers are gonna require that. How fellow players, how are you guys doing for will? Have you decided it yet? Is anyone gonna be good at perception checks? If we've got one person who can do decent perception checks, I think we're okay. That's an excellent way to put it, Owen, thank you. Yeah, I think I might. Okay, Kelly's got a D10 will. Which is, because what have I got? Yeah, we don't need 2 D10 wills in one party, do we? We don't need 2 of those. Okay, I'm gonna switch that then for, right, so I'm gonna make my movement the D10. I'll make my will the D6, and I'll make my combat the D8. Leo also has a will D10. Oh god, okay, so you guys can see stuff for me. I don't even need to have eyes. That's fine. Cool. Although, yeah, that determines my grit, which is not ideal. But my reason is 12, so that's fine. Okay, right, that's scores then. So combat, D8, movement D10, reason D12, will D6, charm D6. Okay, right, score's done. So now I determine my pool. This is where we're going to see how squishy I truly am. Which seems like it will be pretty squishy. So pool is your health and your grit. Health obviously is health. Once you have no health, you are dead. Grit is like your, it's kind of like your determination points, and you basically spend grit to do different things. There's standard actions that require grit, and then there's also a lot of the powers you have to spend grit to use them, and you can kind of use it to boost things and bet on things and stuff. So it's kind of like your power pool in a way. So my health is equal to my max combat plus my max movement. So my health is combat, which is 8, plus movement, which is 10. So my health is 18. And my grit is determined. Oh, I need to remove that from my health, don't I? Right, so fun-sized. Full grown, you're the size of a human child. You permanently lose minus D6 health at character creation. And your minimum starting health is 2. Okay, so I need to roll a D6 right now. I assume this is how it works, to see how much health I lose from being a squishy little raccoon. No! 5! Oh, you guys. That's rough. Okay, cool. So I have 13 health. Minus 5. That's rough. Tight spaces is going to be necessary because I'm not going to need to cram myself into a vent at the first sign of danger. That's true, we are going to be level 3, so I'll get some more. True. Okay. So squishy. Okay, so Millie's saying maybe she's just really old. There is there's factions in Kadida, and there's a whole big list of them, and I was looking at them thinking like, what faction do I want to align with? One of them, I think it's called the Battering Shield or the Battered Shield, is just like old veterans basically, and it requires that you be an old character, and I was like, that maybe sounds like fun. But then I also played one session of being like a rat grandma in a Starfinder game, and so I feel like it's maybe stepping on that territory. That said, is my brother ever going to run any more of those sessions? Probably not, so maybe I should just cannibalize. Okay, right, that's my health. Now grit. Oh, add any species bonuses to your scores for your starting health and grit. So if I get +1. Oh, I think I have extra then. Okay, because I get like, let me double check these. So that's, I should just be looking for combat or movement, right? Any bonuses to those, because those get added as well. +2 on all move checks. Except for dodge and initiative. Does that count, do you think? I want to count it, because that would give me +2 health. And then, is there anything else? Oh yeah, and then aggro/dense is a permanent bonus of either 1 combat or will. That's true, health is not dodge or initiative. Okay, so this is, right, I'm gonna need to break all this down to show like how I got this maths. So, fun-sized minus, subtracted 5 from my health, but it seems like, where is it? Acrobatic, +2 on all move checks except for dodge and initiative, might add to. And then there was another one. Yeah, aggro and dense, a permanent bonus to either combat or will. Then again, maybe I should put that on will because I've only got a d6. Do you guys think, okay, so I get to add +1 to either my combat, which is a d8, or my will, which is a d6. If I add it to combat, then I get to add that to my health as well. Who needs will? Yeah, let me also just check if there's anything else. I don't think there's any other power bonuses. Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine. Thanks, Aaron. Okay, so what does that leave my health at then? So if it's 18 minus 5, that's 13, plus 2 is 13, 15, 13, 14, 15. Please don't make me do arithmetic. So that would be 15 health, and then we are going to go up. I'm going to say that for now, and I'm going to take the +1 to will, and I'll see what health I'm at after I've leveled up and see if I want to bump it up even further. Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to design me the himbo button as an augment, please do so. Okay, so that's health. Let's do grit. Determined by your class, which is up here somewhere, is max reason and max will. Okay, so my reason is d12. And my will is d7 now, because I added that +1. But I'll just put 6 + 1 in case I need to change it. So that gives me... Doing arithmetic live on stream as someone with this calculator is not ideal. 12 plus 6 is 18, plus 1 is 17. No. Oh my god, it's 19. Jesus Christ. Hello, new people. This is for a game of Stillfleet, which is a sci-fi tabletop RPG that I will be playing on Sunday. And you can watch the stream of the game. So I thought I would do it. I would do my character creation on stream as well. We've chosen... Yeah, so I need to create a character, a level 1 character, and then level them up to level 3. And I think we're basically done with the first level of character creation, or at least all the mechanical stuff. So I've got all my powers. I've just calculated my scores and my health and my grit. Deal with money. How much money do I start with? I might just do that later because it's kind of boring, or at least I find it a little bit boring. So you basically calculate how much money you start with, and then you can use that to buy your weapons basically from a list. But I'm more interested in like who actually is this character, like what's the roleplay kind of aspect going to be. So I think I might skip ahead to that stuff. Yeah, so I'll need to do money and equipment, so I'll just make a note of those. Cool. Okay. So let's talk about like the actual character stuff instead of the mechanics. I need to open the Kadida stuff. Is it on here? I don't think it is, but I opened it on my laptop, I think. I'm constantly like, wait, is this on my iPad or my laptop? Yes, here it is. Okay. So I want to look at factions because they also come with like hustles, which is kind of like previous day jobs to like flesh out your character, and which give you again certain like abilities or advantages or disadvantages. And they also come with telos, which is kind of like the equivalent of like the alignment system. So it's basically like what beyond like their immediate kind of objectives, what values does your character kind of like work towards. And to be honest, like my first Stillfleet character, which like I say was kind of like my take on one of the pre-gens, which is called Rala, her telos was, I think it started out as fame and pleasure and it turned into laughs and pleasure, and like that combination basically informed her entire character and like made it really easy for me to click into like, oh, that's kind of who this person is, and made it a lot easier to role play. So I think I want to, let's like look at that section. To start to figure out like, what kind of person is this? Oh, that's a good shout. I will definitely look up if there is a starting kit in the core rulebook, because the last one I've got is like, I think it was updated June 2021, so if it's in there. Yeah, exactly. Ian saying, yeah, with Kadida you can use the factions for hustles or Talloy. Okay. So there are so many factions in the Kadida area of things, so I'm not going to go through them all. I'll just talk about having read through like what's piqued my interest, and we can maybe speak through some options and figure out what I want to do. So as I've said, I am playing Worshipful Kadida, which is like in my eyes being someone who doesn't really have a great like historical or political knowledge, basically the Empire. So, or I'm thinking of it as kind of like playing the Empire in Andor, right? So like more complex, but like still probably not the good guys. If you buy into the idea that there are good guys at all in any of this. So not like a natural political affiliation for me. So I need to try and figure out like how to play a character who like, you know, has like why this character would do the very messy work that is going to be assigned, because I've heard some of what we're going to have to do, and you need to have some conviction to, yeah, I need to know like why does my character work for the co, basically. Like, do they actually believe in it? Are they a true believer? Are they just doing it for the money? Or like, are there other circumstances? Like, where do they stand on all of this? Because it's a very political setting and a very political campaign. So yeah, factions. Factions that have piqued my interest that I might think about as options. So the Kadida Unification Party are well, I don't know that would really work. I I feel like if I was affiliated with them, it would have to be secretly, right? Because so they're interested in liberating worshipful Kadida, which is my side, the kind of like colonial side of the city, and rebuilding the old unified Kadida, seen as a relic by most. And then the other one, to be honest, that I am mainly interested in is the Union of Worshipful Workers. So these are reformers who want to change some of the Worshipful Co.'s governing practices. They're loyal to the Co., but they want to bring about some reforms similar to those in Free Kadida. So kind of like centrists, I think they've been compared to. Like they work for the Co. and they don't want to dismantle it, they want to improve it, right? So they're like, yeah, work within the system, man. And I feel like I could see my way into playing that, right? And then obviously that does give, I mean, with any political affiliation, there's obviously scope for an arc if you want that to change for your character over the course of time or over the course of the campaign. Like if you eventually want to defect or something to another side, but yeah, I feel like there's maybe a way in to a character through that, the Union of Worshipful Workers. What else do we have? Oh yeah, the Battering Shield was the other one. That's the one, so this is led by veterans of the battles who held Worshipful Kadida, so like the war between these two factions before this kind of era of tenuous peace, this like Cold War. This group takes in former soldiers and military who've become disillusioned with the government of the Worshipful Co. They're all operators, but their membership is aging and ailing. And it's a prerequisite that you're like an old character for that one. That one is kind of intriguing as well. That's going to be very relevant. I don't know. This is what I need to figure out, because at the moment all I know is raccoon, blow things up, and that I personally don't know. So I specialized in ethics. I studied philosophy and I specialized in ethics. I did my dissertation in ethics. I have pretty strong feelings on ethics and moral philosophy in general. I'm not super knowledgeable, like I say, about real world like history and politics. My brother, that's more his kind of thing. So I don't necessarily have all the knowledge to like apply it to those situations. I mean, these things are incredibly complex anyway, but I feel very strongly when it comes to ethics. And so that's something I've not really played with a lot in terms of characters. I tend to be happiest when I'm playing, at the very least, like a heart of gold kind of character, which is why I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, where does this character stand if I'm fighting for Worshipful Kadida, right? Right, so we're liking the Battered Shield. I wonder if can I be affiliated with more than one of these? Oh yeah, I think there are rules for that. It's like you maybe get disadvantage on some things and stuff, but you can be affiliated with more than one. Because maybe like what if I was Union of Worshipful Workers and the Battering Shield, and I'm just like a really old like blue collar union grandma. Right, so there's Battering Shield. Is there any other of these that are jumping out to me? I'm not a technological being, so that doesn't apply. I'm intrigued by the Kabati, if that's how you pronounce it, a spiritual order that studies and worships the dome's original builders. So the city is inside a dome. Who are the original builders? I don't remember reading anything about that, so I don't know if that's known or if it's like a mysterious ancestor worship thing or something. But that sounds intriguing. The Worshipful Code uses their devotion for research. The Kabati often have devotees in other factions. feel like Kabati and Battered Shield, or Kabati and Union of Worshipful Workers could be interesting. Then there's an Expeditionary Force, which is kind of soldiers. Shall we look at the hustles and Teloi for those? And see if we can narrow it down anymore. Marva Andor by Raccoon. Oh my god, it is. Oh, that's perfect. This is the thing, you guys, and I think, like, I don't know if there's some of the, how you guys feel about it. If maybe some of the magic is maybe like peeking behind the curtain a little bit too much, maybe reduces the magic. But like, I am a big fan of just like being very heavily inspired by existing characters that I like in my game characters. Like, I feel like I have the best, that I feel that's a really immediate way. It's even if you're gonna like mash two characters together and then just like role play as what you think that would be. I think it like is more effective when people don't know what your inspirations are, but like taking inspiration from other characters like that is like, I feel like it's one of the best shortcuts to like really getting into a character. So I'm perfectly fine with doing stuff like that. Yeah, see, the problem with being Marva though is that I am working for the Empire. So I was thinking about, so I love Andor, and I think, yeah, I was kind of thinking about just like some of the characters in that, like the like girl boss Empire lady and stuff. I was like, maybe something like that. Where it's just like almost like someone that's like playing the game so hard that they're not even like they're just not looking up and seeing the consequences of their actions. Yeah. Okay, right. Let's come back to the factions. Okay, so we were looking at oh yeah, I was kind of interested in the, I want to say Jacaians, I think that's maybe how you pronounce it. So they are a small but powerful faction of smugglers from Fanzalari, which is another planet that also has like a kind of political strife, and there's like a kind of like socialist faction on that planet. Yeah, smugglers from Fanzalari, also using Kadida as grounds for a proxy conflict. They're interested in wresting control of Vice from the affiliated Waitan Mafia, useful for luxury goods and unconventional items. Yeah, so like a smuggler. I feel like tight spaces make sense for a smuggler. Maybe I got into smuggling because I was smuggled here in something. Right, so we have Jacaians, we have the Kadida Unification Party, we have the Battered Shield, and the Union of Worshipful Workers. Let's look at like what those would entail. Oh, let me hop back. The smuggled becomes the smuggler, yes. Okay, so for Unification Party, you have advantage on persuade checks and disadvantage on combat against Kadidans. And your Teloi, so your kind of like primary value, I guess, would be nostalgia for a barely remembered past and democracy. Interesting. And Jacaians, all of your gear at character creation is upgraded to well made. Cool. And the Teloi is elitism, wealth-based, and loot, luxury goods. So being a smuggler, you're very concerned with the material things. That would be very interesting to roleplay, because I feel like I'm not very materialist as a person. So the idea of trying to get into that mindset of being like really after the material things sounds like maybe fun. Union of worshipful workers, you get advantage on blending in and acting normal, disadvantage on taking bold action, and your teloi is like centrism or moderation. That's where I was getting the centrist thing from. I feel like that is an interesting, that makes sense as a character choice to me, playing for Worshipful Kadida as a character who's not necessarily evil or malicious, but that like shows, or it is a kind of illustration of the fact that like a lot of the time centrism and like just going with the status quo obviously benefits the oppressor, right, rather than the revolutionary or the liberation movement. So that might be an angle. What else do I have? The battered shield. You must play as old. You get advantage on charm rolls related to battlefield tactics and positioning. Would you be using charm rolls for that? Well, I guess if you're trying to direct other people or something. And then you get disadvantage on non-dodge move rolls, presumably just because you're old and slow, which would be a shame because I've upped my movement, or I've prioritized my movement. And then the teloi, the kind of primary value for that is support of the disabled and elderly, getting what the Worshipful Co owes us, which I feel like could be a fun stance to take. Kabati, their teloi is spiritual enlightenment and knowledge of Kadida. I don't know how well that would mesh with someone that just really wants to blow things up. Or that could maybe be an interesting contrast, right? Like, because people are full of contrasts, of being like, I want to reach spiritual enlightenment, I also want to blow this up, and I don't see any conflict between those things. Oh, cool. Kelly took Jakayan. Let me go see how that would fit in, because what are they again? They're the smugglers, right. So they're like a rival mafia to the Waiting Mafia, basically. Luxury goods. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Could be interesting to have two of us for the same faction. Yeah, Vanessa says materialist smuggler sounds like magpie syndrome, which I could see for a raccoon. I could also see that for myself. Yes. Yeah, Millie says enlightenment is like a mind exploding moment, so we need to make every moment in life also an explosion. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I love that. Like the primary interest is in explosions, and someone once told this person that like, oh, enlightenment is like an explosion but for your mind, and they were like, cool, well I need to experience that then. Oh, that's excellent. I do kind of like the idea of like a demolitions expert that does yoga, or the equivalent. I feel like that's kind of fun. Okay, right, let me make this into a short list, because I'm just like scrolling back and forth between these. Okay. Right, Kabati is the spiritual ones. So they often have devotees in other factions. I guess you wouldn't necessarily need to be Khadidan to worship the dome's original builders. I guess I'm trying to also figure out if I'm from Khadida. Like, would there be Fex here? Was I born in the city? Or did I come from Spin? Like, which is the Spindle, which is the space station that the Co is based on. I feel like if I'm going for that kind of like centrist that doesn't know any better kind of political stance, then it would make, I feel like being born in Worshipful Khadida would make sense with that, right? Like it, that like it's just all she knows kind of thing. Right, so Kabati, focus Rachel, focus. And right, Jacaians. Oh, and then the Union of Worshipful Workers. And there was another one, I think. Let's put the Khadida Unification Party as well, just in case. And then the other one was the Battered Shield. Yes. Okay. Cool. So if I was going to go for Battered Shield and I was going to go for that older person, then that probably means that I was like, oh, well, it does, right? Yeah, veterans of the battles who held Worshipful Khadida. So that means like I'm an old soldier who participated in the war before it was a Cold War, which I feel like is maybe a semi-interesting contrast between the desire to blow things up. I feel like that's a part of it that is preset because I think that that's in line with my goals as a player, is that I have powers to blow things up. I'm gonna want to blow things up, and so I think it just makes more sense if my character does as well. So there's maybe like an interesting conflict there between that and then having actually seen the war and not wanting to like anything. So I think the way that the things are set up in this world is that there are treaties and stuff in place that Worshipful Khadida, so my faction, my government, can't instigate hostilities with Free Khadida without being like, I'm saying punitized, penalized or punished by like other states and empires and stuff. So it's in their interest to obviously do everything like under the radar, which is why this is the whole spy thing. I feel like other than that just being part of the job, obviously being a veteran of that war is going to make that even more immediate, right? That you're like, well, I don't ever want that to happen again, right? The war was terrible. So we have to like achieve our goals in this kind of undercover way. I think that might make for some interesting internal conflict. Or is it even interesting though? I don't know. Of like, yeah, genuinely wanting to abide by that, keep things on the down low, you know, maintain whatever like veneer of peace is going on, but also having a deep and abiding love for exploding things. Yeah, exactly. Aaron saying, yeah, if you remember the hot war period, you probably feel hesitant to do things that might cause the Cold War to heat up. Or maybe that was, if she is battered shield and she is older, maybe she was the explosion fanatic as a youth, you know, as a naive youth going into the war, and then the war obviously jaded all that out of her, but now she has no choice basically but to still keep, that's like her skill set, and so is kind of reluctantly still using it for the co, having maybe lost the taste for it. I feel like the more I explore it, the more I am leaning towards battered shield. I wish I knew what that was referencing, Owen, but I'm afraid I don't. Vinny Santorini from Atlantis. I take it it's not Stargate Atlantis, because if it was, I would know what you were talking about. Yeah, that's like, I think that might be my best kind of way into the character so far. Let's see. Yeah, so based on that, I think she would be... Oh yeah, I was asking Ian, but I don't know if I did or if I caught that. Yeah, Ian, how is there any chat on Fex in Kadida? Like, is it feasible that I could have been born there? Yeah, I kind of like, yeah, the yoga kind of Kabati spiritual side intersecting with that as well. Oh my god, you guys, okay, what if, right, if she's a member of the Battered Shield, what if she teaches yoga classes for other veterans? Okay, I think that's it. I like that enough that I think that might be it. Yeah. Yeah, like very classic, like you son of a bitch, I'm in kind of vibes. Okay, I need to make note of these things. Okay, I think that's the way to go. I don't want to question it too much or flop about too much. Maybe 3 is maybe too much for her being in the Union as well. Let me look at the rules for multiple factions. To just see if that's something I want to do, or if or how that would affect things. Okay, so PCs can join with a faction to replace their hustles and or teloi. They can associate with more than one faction, but they get double disadvantage with one of the factions. What does that mean with one of the factions? So does that mean like if I'm talking to them? If I'm I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm not entirely sure what that means. Oh, it's just, right, okay, I think it's, Ian, correct me if I'm wrong, but so for each faction hustle, you get an advantage and a disadvantage, and that means that the disadvantage of one of your factions would be double disadvantage. I don't even know how double disadvantage works, but I'm sure I'd figure it out. Or I'd obviously look it up. So you just take like an extra disadvantage if you do more than one. Oh hi, Siri's here, hello. Yeah, that's kind of a cool idea as well. Aaron says maybe you were formerly in faction A but are now with faction B but still have some friends in A. Yeah, for one of the disadvantages, you roll double disadvantage. Okay, how do you roll double disadvantage? Do you like roll disadvantage once and then again and take the worst of those? Or do you roll 4 dice at once and take the worst? Does that make a difference? You roll 3 die and take the lowest. Okay, interesting. Okay, let's look at the advantage and disadvantage. So the ones I'm looking at, I think it's definitely going to be battered shield. Oh, whoops, delete the wrong thing there. So we're definitely going for battered shield. Veteran. Come now. Why is this not letting me delete it? And I'm considering adding also Kabati or Union. Right? Yeah. Okay, so let's delete that. Okay. Also, I apologize. I'm just like asking Ian all these questions. For anyone who's missed this already, Ian has like designed this setting and this source material for Kadida, so it's very handy to have him here. For the Kabati, right, a spiritual order that studies and worships the dome's original builders. Is there any chat on the original builders? Do we know who they are? Is it just like kind of like study and worship of the mystery of it, or yeah, like is there any chat on that I should know about that would inform this? Right, let's look at the advantages and disadvantages of these. So battered shield. Oh yeah, see that's the one that impedes my movement, but then maybe that's like evened out a little bit by the fact that I've pumped up my movement, so maybe I'm just like a spry old lady. Yeah, so I get disadvantage on non-dodge move rolls. I think I like that faction enough that I'm willing to take that. And I feel like the telos of getting what the worshipful co owes us would fit really nicely with the union of worshipful workers as well, if I did want to combine it with that. Oh, whoops. Oh dear. Okay. No, the origin is open. Okay. Yeah, I feel like if I... Oh yeah, and I think he said Fex could be born there, but they stick out a bit. I think that's fine. So I think I want to be Fex, one of probably what's a small group of Fex that was born on Kadida, fought in the war. And I think like even if the Fex aren't obviously native to this planet, if I'm born there, I feel like it wouldn't be too much of a stretch that you could still be interested in like who built the dome, right? If that's all you knew. Millie says, you do yoga, you're in great shape. Yeah, the yoga is part of the explanation for the bettered movement. Compensation. Actually, oh my god, I know what I'm going to do. Okay. This is helping me think of my roleplay inspirations as well, right? Because this could be partially based on a guy that I worked with a few years back at one point. So basically at one point, weirdly, when I was doing like a kind of social media marketing thing, internship, I was doing marketing for a Pilates studio, and it was run by this incredible, like wonderful, energetic, like kind of effeminate 60-year-old man. And he was just incredible. Like his energy was just amazing. He referred to himself as a ballerina. He wore these beautiful scarves, and like he did so much Pilates that he could do all this crazy shit even though he was like 60 years old. And he worked with like elderly people and their mobility and stuff. Inspiration. Okay, so the battered shield, And then the other ones I was looking at were the Union of Worshipful Workers, in which case I would get advantage on blending in, disadvantage on taking bold action. I feel like blowing things up is quite a bold action, so I don't know if I'm willing to take that. Oh yeah, and then Kabati, let's look at that. Advantage on charm rolls with sapients who display overt spirituality or hold religious titles. Leaving Kadida causes severe homesickness. Yeah, I feel like that works. I think it's going to be Battered Shield, Kabati. Yes, I love that. Okay. Cool. Okay, I think we're going to go Battered Shield and Kabati. That's exciting. Okay, I feel like I'm getting a handle on this character now. This is exciting. I still haven't named her. It is going to be a her, I've decided. As we've been going through this, I think that feels right. So we need a name. And I also like to have a rough kind of like look in mind, whether that's like an outfit or whatever. Yeah, I think you do have to have the shape of them before you name them, like Hallie's saying. Sorry, just catching up on the chat. Okay. From the currently circulating list of Quaker names, Revolution 6 Men. I feel like calling my Worshipful Kadida character Revolution is a bold move. If I was in the Union, I'd have disadvantage on that. Okay, shall we just look up some name generators? So I really love like a single syllable first name, especially for kind of like anthropomorphic animal type characters. Like my Ratfolker grandma. This is not that different. No, it is. Right, so my rat folk, what are they called in Starfinder again? I can't remember. The rat people in Starfinder was also a grandma, but she was like a bard. She was an envoy type. So I think different enough in personality, but still grandma rodents, it's my thing. Okay. Yes, name generators. Does anyone have some favorite name generators that they recommend? Like for sci-fi, maybe? Jet is cute. Star Wars name generator. I mean, it doesn't have to be specifically sci-fi, but like, I think that's probably a better shout than like your traditional fantasy. Okay, I've never tried the Star Wars name generator. Let's give that a shout. I'm just gonna Google that and hope that it comes up. Donjon? Oh, is there more than one of them? Yes, it looks like it. Let's try this first one. Well, it's generated male, but Pana Meln, Lad Harren, Valsy, Shone, Oren. I actually know someone called Oren. Oh, it has all the different species. I have no idea what any of these mean. I don't know Star Wars. Let's look at Wookiee names. Cheen. Lobar. Lobar is pretty good. Just like that. Maybe for a last name? Farua? Rackjaw. Oh, there's a Stillfleet name generator as well. There probably isn't specific for Fex, but I should check that out too. Resources. Character generator? Or is it strings? Can't remember. Yeah, the character generator doesn't generate names, it's just the rest of the character. Yeah. Species names, aliens. Right, that doesn't have names. I know there's a Stillfleet name generator somewhere. Because I've used it. I just don't remember. Oh, species names is it, because it's names for characters of that species. Okay, so yeah, as I expected, Fex isn't on there, but we could try, I feel like Harajun, maybe? Philindricas. Kusode? Or maybe Gelasti? Or generic. Aralesh Herbs. Okay, I kind of like Herbs as a last name. Oh, Ewok names, that's such a good idea, thank you. Oh, thanks, Harry, see you later. Okay, so we've got Lobar, we've got Herbs. Okay. Yeah, let's try generic, and then let's do Ewok name generator. Wiggle. These are ridiculous. Rela is good, but it's very close to Rala, which is also, I named my D&D character. I'm playing a Goliath cleric in a game that we've not played since like Christmas, that we're going to get back to at some point. And I named her Roka, which I just made up. And then my friend was like, you know, that's the like brand of, it's like a brand of rucksacks, right? And I was like, fuck. And now I keep seeing Roka bags everywhere, and it's like, fuck's sake. And so we were like, oh, she just carries a Roka bag. Okay, Azzy is kind of cute. A-Z-Z-E. Meki, these are ridiculous. Lick, just Lick with an E on the end. That might make a nice last name, actually. Just Lick Herbs. Oh, lick those herbs. Dasa. I could also just put these in the chat, because these I can type without it going, oh man, I pasted it and it smooshed them all together again. Let's see, Cabby. The kneecapper, I like that. I do kind of like Herbs or Lick as a last name. Astic. That's like ripe for puns. Aga? Grouply. Okay. I think I'm gonna go back to the Stillfleet one and see the generic. Stacks to me. Okay, Stacks is pretty good actually. Dasa Stacks. Stacks is good. Hatchet, Zarhat. I also like that. Duck Monkey. I do love the idea of like just smooshing two random English words together and just being like in their language it means nothing, but to us it's Duck Monkey. Happy Vonti Bridgery. Peaky Gums. And Chemo. Chemo? Oh no, that sounds just like chemotherapy. Stacks is good, right? I just can't decide if that should be a Teramis Frangipan. Excellent. I just can't decide if Stacks should be the first name or the last name, or maybe that should be a nickname, right? Stacks in the middle. Hatchet. Nolik. Nightmare Row. That is good. I don't know if it fits for this character, but that's good. Low bar Stacks. It's pretty good. AstroTurf. Okay, I might try Fleeters as well. Young Rel Venmouth. Rel? I kind of like doing names that start with R as well. Like having my character names have the same first letter as my name's kind of fun. Rel Stacks. That sounds very Star Wars to me. I don't know about anyone else. Oh, hi, Ryan's here as well. Cool. Yeah, we've been going for a while. Wow, that's 112 minutes. Rel Stacks. It's pretty good. Rel Low Bar Stacks. Okay. Roper Best Off. Yeah, I quite like Rel. I really like names that are like easy to say for RPGs. Yeah, that's totally a pattern with me. Actually, I don't think that was even intentional, but now I'm thinking about it. I've had characters, well, Rala was a pre-generated name, but I chose Rala. One of my tweaks was that her full name is actually Rala Lalala. But everyone just calls her Rala for short. There's Rala, I've had Roka, I've had Riley. Are there others? Aita, which isn't an R. Grimzel. Still, that's like 3. Mir. Stillander, that's kind of cool. Oh, sleeper names, that might be interesting. Oh wow, they're creepy. Okay. Rouse, the vehement promoter. Sun designer. I did have Flux as well, yeah. Yes, Rala, the Great Wizard. Ryan played in that game with me. I forgot that I became the Great Wizard. Yeah, single syllable animal sound names are where it's at. Stacks, I think, is... I still really like herbs, but I think stacks is winning. Rel stacks? I feel like it's... that's almost it, right? Rel stacks, that's almost it. But there's something missing. Low bar is cool, but it doesn't mean anything. So like if I'm gonna have a nickname, then I would like it to actually inform the character or be like, you know, like why do people call her that? Elmerva, that's kind of cool. Donna. Dinah. Oh my god. Dinah is local Scottish dialect from my hometown for like don't. And it's one of my favourite dark words, so that would be fun. Dinner stacks. That just sounds like dinner though. True, yeah. I feel like low bar. Oh yeah, good shout. I should look up raccoon things. Yeah, stacks might be the better nickname, actually. Rel stacks something. Dinner stack sounds like breakfast for dinner pancakes, which is a positive association. Okay, I need to just decide something. I'm still just messing around with the Stillfleet name generator. Neon. Let's try some Gelasti. Song of Zog barking. Marshwa. Marsh? My Fex ability isn't, it's woodland or something, it's not marsh, is it? Oh no, but I've got the marsh dance, so actually I kind of like marsh as like a family name. For my Fex heritage. Where is it? Yeah, perform the marsh medicine. And what's the other one? Yeah, woodlands and wetlands. Yeah, so marsh kind of works actually. But then I don't know if that clashes too much with stacks. Just marsh stacks. Rel marsh. Rel stacks marsh. Oh, we might be onto something. Or what if I combine them so it's like marsh stacks? And that's like it's like a marsh town, right? Like almost like chimney stacks or something. So it's like a reference to like it's like Thatcher. You know? It's kind of that, yeah, like it's like a Fex thing. Rel marsh stacks? How do we feel about this? Zog parking is good. Okay, I'm not gonna entertain too many more. Mershish herbs is one that's just come up. Too hard to say, but I like that herbs has come up again. Mournfolk are probably not going to be applicable. Yeah. Okay. Pigly. Oh my god. Piggly is from the Ewok name generator. Yeah, I think marsh stacks, it's like a little bit more interesting than just like the single syllable on its own, but it's still simple enough. I'm leaning towards that. Marini. Asti. It's kind of cool. I like that with rel, I've just removed a bunch of syllables from my own name. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the SH and then ST makes it harder to say. Stack marsh. I feel like that takes away the fun. There's something, I think there's something very phonetically satisfying about stacks to me that I think that loses. Marsh stack. Marsh. I might have to take this away and make my final decision off stream if I'm going to be very indecisive about it. But I feel like I'm almost there. I feel like I'm getting there. Marsh rel stacks. Right? Like, why would we just Marsh the first name? She doesn't go by Marsh. No. Oh, I don't know. Mashed potatoes? Okay. I feel like we've done good work here. Like, I feel like one of the hardest things about creating characters is just like, there's a point at which it finally clicks and you're like, oh, I feel like I know who that person is now. And sometimes even when you're playing, that still doesn't click. And I feel like I've kind of got that. Rebel Stacks is rad, but I'm definitely not playing a rebel. Kiki. Lalima. I think I prefer the general. Yeah, I'm going to look at more of the Wookiee ones as well. Baka. Lobar again. Heen. Rika, close to Roka. Rorwa. That's pretty good. Lobug. Okay. Let's just get everything. Kyla. Kyla Rel. Tala. That's kind of cute. Marshall does sound like a future version of Marshall. Tala? Is Tala a name of a well-known character? Or does it just like sound familiar? I mean, it's one letter off of Rala, I guess. Marstax. Oh, that might be true. Yeah, I think you're right. Milia, Kriva, Kriva. I'm such a like ending on a person. A sucker. Xena Marstacks. Vala, that was it, yes. Thank you for the Googling. Winnie, just put with a single, that's kind of cute for an older lady. Okay, I'm gonna give it like 1 more minute and then I'm gonna call it and I'll just have to decide off stream. If I'm nearly there, I'll be like, Rel, maybe it's Rel. Xenia Stacks is very cool. What if it was like Rel Stacks of the Marsh? Like we just make it a bit weirder. Stack Marsh is good as well, though. I actually just have too many that I like and I can't note it down. Pare it down. Yeah. Oh god, let's see if I can say that. Relarsh Stamar Stack Mars Star Stacks Ralph Shamarks. Ralph Shamarks is bold. Guys, remember that people are gonna have to actually say this name in the middle of keeping a bunch of other things in their brain at the same time. Rel Herbs. It does sound like Karl Marx, that's so funny. What was the original? Was it just Rel Stacks? That's still kind of the leader, to be honest. Marsh Stacks, Rel Marsh. Yeah, what if it is just the Rel and then Stacks as the nickname? So it would be Rel Marsh. Rel Marsh sounds weird. Genevieve Stacks. Did we already do Stacks Rel Marsh? Rel Marsh? Okay, I think it's probably gonna be Rel Stacks. But I gotta just stop now, right? I'll figure it out in the next few days. I think it's probably gonna be Rel Stacks. Thank you, Ian, for coming and for answering my questions. Cool. Okay, I don't think I've got much more to do, so I think I'm probably gonna wrap up soon. Because this has been going long. Does anyone have... Do I have anything else that I need to do for this character? Oh yeah, like a vibe or a look, maybe. And if anyone has any final questions, let me know. Yeah. Cool, okay, so just like a brief sketch for like what she looks like. I feel like... Okay, so she's a veteran. She is a saboteur and demolitions expert. So before she was a spy, she was probably in tech and demolitions. So, I mean, there's your classic sci-fi kind of jumpsuit, workers, kind of boiler suit, maybe. Oh yeah, but then she's also got her yoga grandma vibe as well. So like, what's like a fun, yeah, can we think of like two like presentation items or quirks or whatever, like one for each of those, right? One for kind of veteran demolition stuff, and then one for the kind of like spiritual kabati yoga granny. Leggings, but with lots of pockets instead of a heavy pack. Like pockets in the leggings or pockets elsewhere instead of a pack? I think something with a lot of pockets makes sense as a demolitions expert, right? Because she's going to have lots of gizmos and bits and bobs. So like hoarding grandma vibes, I think makes sense. Oh, whoa, my computer just automatically went into dark mode and it terrified me. In the leggings, it's the future stuff is dirty. How long are her legs though? Irene says, for some reason, I just keep on imagining knitting needles in her hair. That's adorable. I like that. And I bet actually, whether or not she knits, knitting needles are probably, like, they're very multi-purpose tools. You could probably use them in a lot of different ways. Or maybe it's like something that looks like knitting needles, but when you take it out, it's actually like some kind of like wiring tool or something. I kind of like that idea. Does she have hair? She's a raccoon person. Does she have like long human hair? Or is it more of the traditional rocket, like this is just a raccoon but slightly different? But see, now that you've planted the idea of her having hair and knitting needles in it, I'm imagining like, you know, like a black and white, like salt and pepper, like big bun. Kind of like that idea. Maybe it's got both. Maybe it's like some kind of wiring tool or tools that she uses in her hair, and there's like some kind of kabati, like spiritual, like adornment or something as well. Yeah, it's definitely got to be covered in pockets. Yeah, I think she's got like a cute kind of functional boiler suit with lots of pockets, full of gizmos and explosives. Is there anything else based on this stuff in my sheet? Yeah, they retrofit human and weighted gear for their small bodies. Yeah, so I could maybe look at that as well, like taking something larger and cutting it down or adapting it. Yoga mat that unrolls with all her tools. Yeah, like a tool roll or something. Yeah, tight spaces, so I need to be able to squish and stuff. Sabotage. Yeah, so it's mainly like tech, but I probably don't want to go too heavy because like it's like just for tight spaces that still makes sense. And she wants to remain light and spry. font size, track, marsh medicine. Yeah, okay, the jury's still out on whether she has hair or not. But I think some kind of, yeah, boiler suit with lots of pockets. I think I just need to visualize like a color or a pattern or something for it. Although I guess like if it's a spy situation, she probably needs to be able to change her outfits and not stand out too much, which is the opposite instinct that I have a character design. My first Stillfleet character had a bright purple fedora on top of her spacesuit. So yeah, it probably needs to be a bit more low-key than that. So probably kind of Marva Andor, actually, in clothing styles and stuff. Galaxy pattern leggings, that's cute. Okay, well I feel like I'm getting like a kind of vibe for what she looks like, but I'll maybe want to nail down some more specific details. And I think I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys. Like we've done a lot. I think it's gonna be Rel Stacks or Rel Marsh. We'll decide. I need to decide before Friday because that's when I need to have my character sheet into the GM. So yeah, thanks for coming along for the ride. I will say for the last time, the character that I've created in this, you can watch me play her on Sunday on the Stillfleet Twitch channel. Go over there and enable notifications and stuff. I'll try and send out another email before we go live as well. And it should be a good time. And I will get to play Rel Stacks Marsh. Stacks Marsh? Stacks Marsh. Maybe it's Stacks Marsh. Because that fixes the Marsh Stacks situation. Stacks Marsh? Perhaps. Okay, yes. So thanks for coming along. I hope you come along to the stream if you fancy, if it sounds like a good time. Stacks Marsh. Yeah. Yeah, I think in all one word, like, which is kind of dumb, but in maybe like in a fun way. Yeah. What was I saying? Do I have anything else to say? I don't think so. Yeah, thanks for coming along. Do come along to the stream if you want to see the game and see some Stillfleet in action. Obviously check out Stillfleet on their website and stuff if you're interested in the game. It's one of my favourite tabletop games, if not my favourite. So yeah, go check it out. And I look forward to writing all of this up. Oh, I need to level up to level 3 as well. I've got other stuff to do, but I can't do all of this on stream. It's just going to take too long, so I'll do that tomorrow. I'll level up to 3, finalise my name and everything, put this all together in a sheet and print it off, and we'll be good. Cool. Okay, thanks everyone. I'm gonna wrap it up there. Thanks for coming. Have a good rest of your day.